Do you know which Instagram post has the most likes? It's not from Selena Gomez or Dwayne Johnson's accounts. The most liked Instagram post is Cristiano Ronaldo returning to Manchester United, followed by Lionel Messi joining PSG. Fans nowadays wanted to witness their favorite stars' eating habits to their bathroom routines, and sports popularity is now more hyped than it has ever been. These athletes live their lives in the spotlight, so it's only right that they profit from their celebrity. Some of the best athletes in the world make the majority of their money without ever kickboxing, bouncing, or throwing a ball. All of this boils down to one magical word: endorsements. Endorsements play an important role in marketing. According to reports, athletes receive 28% of Nike's massive marketing spend in exchange for endorsements. Famous people appear in advertisements and packaging for everything from bed sheets to cereal, and now social media has pushed it to a whole new level. Kim Kardashian is paid $250,000 every post on her Instagram account supporting only one product. Michael Jordan didn't realize it at the time, but he had just established a precedent for future players to take a greater part in the booming sport and streetwear economic realm when he signed a 5-year, $7 million agreement with Nike in 1984. Almost every year over the next 30 years or more, we've seen the largest sports sponsorships we've ever seen. Athletes' major source of revenue has switched from match fees to endorsements partnerships. Any sports celebrity worth his or her salt is backed by a well-known sports brand. Here are some of the most significant endorsement deals in modern sports history. Tiger Woods and Nike have an unbreakable relationship. Since 1996, the most famous golfer in sports history has been connected with Nike. Woods had been a household figure in sports since he was a youngster, and even before he turned pro, he was already a huge star. Also, the 15-time major champion transformed golf and made it a global sport. Tiger Woods' initial contract with Nike for $40 million over 5 years was inked in 1996. According to rumors, Tiger's next deal for more than twice as much as his first was signed in 2001. With a 5-year time frame, this was estimated to be worth around $100 million. The third agreement was signed in 2006, but this time it was for 7 years from 2006 to 2013. He did, however, sign a contract extension in 2013, and his current Nike contract is set to be worth approximately $200 million. In 2013, Woods' representative said, "We're comfortable with where we ended up, and the professional track that Tiger will be on with Nike." From 2014 to 17, he only had one top 10 result in 3 years. Nike, on the other hand, elected to stick with Woods and preserve their deal. As a result, the 82-time PGA Tour winner's formidable association with Nike will continue at least until Woods retires from the sport. Roger Federer is another example of an athlete's own brand overshadowing the endorsement. The 20-time Grand Slam winner has been associated with Nike for the past 2 decades or so. Federer has benefited from Nike's largest sponsorship agreements for decades. However, when Feds took the center court at Wimbledon on Monday, he was dressed in Uniqlo, a Japanese clothing brand. Federer's major break came at Wimbledon in 2003 when he won his first Grand Slam title. When his contract with Rolex was extended in 2016, his annual agreement to endorse Rolex watches climbed to an estimated $8 million per year. Federer is a well-known Rolex ambassador, and you'll never see him raise a trophy without one of the luxury watches on his wrist, each one handpicked to complement the event. Federer agreed to a 10-year sponsorship contract with Nike in 2008 for almost $120 million. Everyone expects him to stay with Nike after their agreement expired in March 2018, but he made news when he switched to Uniqlo in a 10-year contract for an estimated $300 million. Federer remarked at Wimbledon that the arrangement with the Japanese brand had been a long time coming. It appears like the Fed Express will be alright without Nike sponsorship. This new arrangement might be worth $300 million over 10 years, surpassing Federer's 20-year deal with Nike, which paid him over $150 million and was one of the most lucrative endorsement deals of all time. One of the most recognizable faces in the world, Cristiano Ronaldo, has a unique European and global influence that many NBA players and other athletes just can't compete with. As a Manchester United player, Cristiano Ronaldo makes roughly €200,000 a year. He is the most followed person on Instagram right now, and each Instagram post costs him roughly $1.6 million. A lifetime endorsement agreement with Nike is expected to be worth more than $1 billion, making him the richest Nike-sponsored athlete in the planet. Other endorsements such as Herbalife, EA Sports, and American Tourister bring in money for Ronaldo. He is the third highest paid athlete in the world and has the third most valued endorsement due to his status as a Nike lifetime athlete. According to a new Hookit report, Ronaldo's social media presence bought Nike $474 million in revenue last year. It would only take Nike around 2 years to recoup its investment if the results of this cooperation continue at the same or better pace. Nike wanted Steph Curry to wear their sneakers when he first entered the NBA and showed great potential. Despite the fact that he had previously been wearing Nike sneakers for 4 years, Nike offered him a sponsorship agreement. The firm, on the other hand, was never confident of Steph's popularity at the moment. Curry's conditioning was also a source of worry during his early years in the NBA. Curry's ankles were like paper, and he'd already missed a lot of games. Despite this, Steph may have signed with Nike if he hadn't been for Nike's blunders. Nike reportedly utilized the same presentation that they used to sign Kevin Durant in their meetings with Steve. Furthermore, Curry's name was not even mentioned in the presentation. By this point, it was clear that Nike had no intention of signing Curry, and the meeting was only formality. Back in 2013, Under Armour was a relative newcomer to the sports endorsement industry, yet it managed to grab a once-in-a-generation star, Steve Curry, from Nike's hands. The first sale was only about $4 million, according to Business Insider. While it may seem like a lot of money to an average person, it was nothing to an emerging celebrity. Furthermore, stars like Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Derrick Rose were earning multi-million-dollar contracts at the time, worth over 10 times than Curry's contract. As a result, no one felt Curry was worth $4 million at the time. But much to everyone's amusement, Steve Curry grew into an NBA superstar over the following several years, winning both individual and team awards. By that time, it was clear that Under Armour's risk had paid off, as they had discovered a gold mine. After Under Armour's first investment paid off, it was time for Steve to be rewarded. Curry was signed by the corporation until 2024, and the contract's value was not disclosed. Curry, on the other hand, received a stock part in the multi-billion-dollar corporation. While the actual value has not been disclosed, it is most certainly in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Curry earns roughly $44 million per year from sponsorships alone, according to Forbes. The majority of the $44 million should come from his Under Armour contract. In addition, the Curry brand was launched as an Under Armour's brand. This is comparable to Michael Jordan's relationship with Nike. Under Armour's ability to entice Steve Curry, one of the game's best players, away from Nike felt like a significant marketing victory. But as we now know, that was not the chance. It came about as a result of a careful, patient approach that made him feel important. Yet, as useful as Steve Curry was to Under Armour, he may have been much more beneficial to them. According to financial analysts, he is worth up to $14 billion to the firm that placed him on the map. That's what we call a win-win situation. So in the end, when Nike opted not to sign Curry in 2013, they lost a lot of fame and money. According to Forbes, in 2020, Jordan has been paid over $1 billion by Nike since his contract, and his brand generates billions of dollars in income each year. LeBron James, on the other hand, inked a 7-year, $90 million contract with Nike in 2003. In 2010, he was given a contract renewal, and in 2015, he and the sports clothing giant agreed to a lifetime contract. His current contract's figures are unknown. However, he allegedly earns more than $30 million per year, and the overall agreement is worth more than $1 billion. LeBron James was a millionaire before he even stepped foot on an NBA floor, thanks to endorsement deals. LeBron rejected a $10 million check from Reebok at the age of 18 in order to avoid meeting with Adidas and Nike. Nike quickly swooped in on LeBron, and he signed for 2015 for an unheard of over $1 billion lifetime agreement, making it one of the most lucrative Nike endorsement deals in history. Is there a better bargain than a Nike contract that lasts a lifetime?